This video will show how to gather historical information from buildings through ION. You're going to need to connect to this VPN. This one, vpn.fact.gotech.edu. You're probably going to need to be on the Georgia Tech Wi-Fi in order to do that. When I tried the Ethernet, it had issues, so if you're having issues, just go onto the Wi-Fi and you should be fine. So we're going to start here at this Power Monitoring Expert. You can see the address up here, 128.61.157.224. You have to log in, and you can email GT Facilities and ask for a login for that when you ask for the login for the VPN. So if you go over to diagrams, you will see just kind of like a map. So if you don't know what a building number is, you can search for it by map, but you can also search for it by building number. For this example, we're going to use COLC just because it's an easy building and it has a lot of useful items to show. So basically, electrical information is in kilowatt hours, and other information like cooling load, heating load, people, stuff like that may be recorded differently. So it's always kind of important to see what values are being used if you're going to compare values. So like all of these are electrical loads. If it has like this binocular and the piece of paper, that's generally historical load. These, like with the red dots, is like a real-time evaluation, and then like these up here with the graphs are basically other things that aren't electrical. So I'm just gonna click on this to show you cooling. So you can see here, it shows gallons per minute, Fahrenheit, ton hours, and some of them, like, this might be intuitive, but some buildings are kind of weird where they'll have 10 gallon per minute or 100 gallon per hour, and if you don't know that, then you're not gonna understand how the energy is being used. So it's always a kind of a good idea to check this to make sure that what you're inputting and what you're evaluating is the same. So if you click on, I'm just going to click on one of these, and then for this one, the historical things down here are a direct map to the ones up here. So you can see, okay, this is the like unit name, and then this is what it actually is. So like lighting load, if I just click up here, it'll show this, volts, amps, power, energy, stuff like that. And it just takes a while to load, so I'm not going to wait for it. If you go click on here, it takes a while, but this is how you can just look at maybe like the past weeks. So if you're looking at a lot of information, this would be a good place to go, and this is going to take forever because I'm recording. Thank you. So yeah, basically, like, you're not getting that much information. Like, and you can keep scrolling down, but to get like historical information, especially more than like a week, this is a difficult way to do it. You can change the date range, but I've had basically no success going any further than the most recent month. Like, if you try and get last year's information, it either will just not load, or it'll take so long to load that you might as well just go the other way, because you can install the program and do it faster. We see this real energy until load. When they changed systems, they didn't have the they didn't keep the nomenclature. So what we're going to look for in the next program is active energy, which is this. So this is how you can get historical data after like the units and like what all the titles are for everything, like that U12, U2 thing. We now know it's lighting load. So same thing, you can search for building, and generally it's by number, and if you know the number you can just type it in, and then you'll get some meters, and like some buildings have more, some buildings have less, and then you can see, if you can just like look around and see what you're looking for, for just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to go to MH1, and this is basically main power and for the building, and I'm going to look for just active power, and then you can click whatever you want. So if you want anything that you click on will be grabbed, so you can select all, unselect all. So it's like active energy delivered, and then you can pick a date. Generally, if you for formatting, which is later on, if you're gonna put this into Energy Plus, you're probably gonna need 8760 hours or 365 days of information in hourly format. So if you are trying to do something like, say, 2018 and it's September, you can do like January, Jan 1 through like September, the previous day, so that'd be like September 10, and then you can go and grab, September 11 from 2017 through December 31 of 2017, so that way you have a full year of data. Because sometimes if you just put zeros, it gets kind of weird. But for power load, it should be fine. The main issue with the formatting is weather. But for power, if you just want to compare power, you can just go January 1 through the day before whatever today is, and then put zeros for the rest of the year. And it won't be right for that, obviously, but that's how you can do it. So once you select what you want, you just click grab Ion, and it'll download a file for you, and it'll open up an Excel file just so you can take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Thank you. The only thing to kind of be aware of is for this weather format, they did it in UTC for the time zone. So if you're in Eastern time, you're going to need to basically delete this time to get it correct. So you're going to need to delete 5 hours to go from UTC to Eastern or daylight or whatever. You have to also make sure if it's daylight or not, that changes how many hours you delete. But if not, everything will be off by 5 or 6 hours. So make sure you can just delete it and then shift up, and then you'll be fine. And then you can just remove this so you know that it's okay. This is what it actually is, and it's not UTC anymore. The next video will show either how to format this or how to gather weather information, because the weather information kind of deserves its own video.